Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and I've got some news for you C++ developers out there, is that Cocos2D-x was just released. Now Cocos2D-x and the Cocos2D family have been around for a very long time. I believe it goes back to 20 plus years. It used to be called Cocos or Cocos2D. It was originally, I believe, a Python library, then it got ported to Cocos2D-iPhone, which was ultimately a Objective-C port, and then Cocos2D-x was a port of that Objective-C port to C++. Now, Cocos2D-x is definitely the most active branch of all of those things, but at the same time, they've done a spin-off version of Cocos Creator and Cocos JavaScript and so on. It does get a bit confusing, but the one we were talking about today is Cocos2D-x, and version 4 was just released. Now, it's kind of funny. They have this blog post, because if you actually go to their website, it's hard to actually tell that it's released, because the most recent version you will see is 3.7 something. But there is a 4.0 version. I will link this in the linked article down below. And the original points here don't look that impressive in their README. They focus on very strange things in their blog. Some fixing of some fonts, movie controller, and iOS 13, and a couple of other things. But fortunately, if you head on over to the actual guts of the release, the new features are much more impressive. So what do we got in this new release? Well, we've got support for Metal on iOS and macOS, which I guess is a very good thing because iOS and macOS and OpenGL are not really friendly anymore. Use CMake for all platforms, updated GLFW to 3.3. That's a general OpenGL utility windowing and input library. Updated minizip to 1.2, removed deprecated functions, removed the H5 engine and JSB, removed TIFF, removed simple audio engine, removed the experimental namespace, fixed a bug that system font cannot work correctly on macOS 15, so that was what they were referencing in the previous thing. Fixed Lua crash on 64-bit devices, fixed bugs for iOS, including UI WebView, now uses the WK WebView instead, and video player uses AV player controller instead. And then you got instructions on how to upgrade to this particular version. The truth of the matter is, for a 4.0 release, I'm actually kind of a little underwhelmed. Now, don't get me wrong. iOS and macOS are a big target, especially in the mobile space, so this is a big deal. And using CMake across the board should make the build process quite a bit easier, but this does not look like a 4.0 kind of release. A 0.0 release is normally kind of massive, and this one is relatively minor. Now, I'm going to make the assumption that a fair number of you aren't really that familiar with Cocos2D-x, so I'm going to do a bit of a primer now that we covered what is actually new in Cocos2D-x version 4. So we're going to head on over to the GitHub page. Now, you're going to notice a couple things about Cocos2D-x. First off, there are a lot of tags here. There's Cocos2D, 2D-x, 2D.js, 2D HTML5. Now, why HTML5 and JS ever existed at the same time, I don't really know, but they did. And then there's also Cocos Creator, which I've covered a number of times on this channel and will be covering again in the future. There's also a Lua port, and like you said, there's a JavaScript engine in here. Now, the interesting thing is you won't find a license here. We'll get to that in just a second. But it is a multi-platform framework for building 2D games, interactive books, demos, and other graphical applications. It is based on the Cocos2D iPhone, but instead of using Objective-C, it uses C++. It works on iOS, Android, OS X, Windows, Linux, and web platforms. So the Cocos2D-x framework architecture goes, your game is here, you got the various different intermediate level APIs down here, your JavaScript VM here, Lua engine or Lua bindings, the Cocos2D C++ engine is right here, or the JavaScript engine is over here, and then you've got all of your various different platforms being supported. I think a version of Cocos2D-x ultimately powers Cocos Creator, but there was a couple changes there, so I don't want to state that decisively. Now, if we scroll down a little bit more, they do a bit of a blurb about what their main features are. So they got scene management, so you can switch between scenes, do transitions between scenes. We got sprite and sprite sheet support, lens, special effects like lens, ripple, waves, liquid, etc. Actions, which you can think of often like tweens for, you know, actually tween is one of the actions, but things like move, rotate, fade, so you can basically do fire and forget actions. Basic menus and buttons, integrated physics engine with the Box2D and Chipmunk engines, particle system, skeletal animations, both spine and armature support. Spine is a 2D bone-based animation system out there. I've done videos on it as well. Fonts, fast font rendering using fixed and variable width fonts, support for TTF fonts, tile map support, orthogonal, isometric, and hexagonal, Parallax scrolling, motion streaking, render to texture, touch accelerometer support on mobile devices, touch mouse and keyboard on desktops, sound engine support, the Cocos2D-x library. So this is the library. If we go on back here, the simple audio engine that was removed, it was removed because this is the library that's used now, which is built on top of OpenAL. Integrated slow motion and fast forward, fast and compressed textures, PVR compressed and uncompressed texture, ETC1 compressed textures, and more. Resolution independence. I also think they've got multiple ways of dealing with resolution without having to use pixel coordinates. Language is C++ with Lua and JavaScript bindings. Open source commercial friendly, MIT compatible with open source and closed source projects. So there, it is MIT licensed, as you can see here, but that gets a little interesting, which we'll see in just a second. And it uses OpenGL ES2 and OpenGL 2.1 on desktop. And then, of course, now we could add Metal to iOS and macOS to this particular list. And you see it runs on and can be built on a number of different platforms. It does use Python, and unfortunately 2.75, which is going to become increasingly antiquated because Python 3 is finally gaining traction there. So you see it runs on iOS 8 or higher, Android 3 or higher, OS X 10.9 or higher, Windows 7 or higher, and modern browsers and IE9 for web games. And then we got some instructions on how to go about building it. Now, in terms of the licensing stuff, so it does say it's under MIT license, and Wikipedia says it's under MIT license. But if you come into licensing, you'll see that it's actually broken down. All of the various different pieces are under their own licenses. Now, most of the time, you're going to find the exact same license that you're dealing with here. So you're going to find some things, though, are under their own like quasi-proprietary license. Now, nothing I've read here is bad. And, you know, again, libjpeg is its own license. But I just think, like, libjpeg is under a named license, but it's not named in this. It's just giving the... So I'm a little confused with their licensing, but you should be able to safely assume that it is MIT licensed. Now, normally what you would actually see, so for example, if I go into the Cocos2D-x license details, it would say MIT. But in this case, it doesn't. But it's almost like a straight copy of what the MIT license is. So I don't know what's going on with their licensing, but I think you can mostly assume that it's MIT. They've just renamed it. So that seems to be the thing for me. If someone else has a correction on that, I would love to hear from you, but that's my take on it anyways. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Cocos2D-x, I'm not going to go into those level of details here, but fortunately, I do have you covered. I did a complete tutorial series on this from... installation, creating a project, hello world, handling sprites, handling mouse and input, keyboard events, game loop, updates, action handling, and playing sound effects in music. So a lot of the stuff that you might want to see covered, I have covered it. Now, I didn't do this full tutorial series in video form. If there's enough interest, maybe I will do one at some point in time. And this is for version 3, early 3, I think. So it's been updated quite a bit since then. So you might have a couple of code refactoring changes to deal with, but the basics should get you through it. So if you're interested in checking out Cocos2D-x, I will link this in the linked article down below. And that's about it. My only last comment here is actually their website experience. This is interesting. So I'm going to go to Cocos2D-x and then it goes to cocos.com. Right, so if I wanted to find out information about Cocos2D-x, I get brought here at Cocos, and then I'm very strongly shown Cocos Creator, which, by the way, is a great game engine. It's more JavaScript all-in-one kind of thing. And then we can get here, this one is Cocos, but you can't actually tell because it's, you know, not actually said any. So this one, very clearly, Cocos Creator. This one, you don't even know what you're dealing with here. So if you want to get details, you actually come here and you go to Cocos2D-x. Now, the funny thing is, this is ultimately a page with all of the other various bits on it. And then the last thing I want to point out here is, so say you've got Cocos2D-x and you find this particular spot. So again, it's kind of, they really seem to be trying to push Creator over 2DX these days. But if you want to go ahead and grab it, you click download and you are going to be quite out of date. So just one of those things to be aware of. The official website is quite a ways behind this particular release. So we're going off this actual blog information, and your download link is there. And of course, I will link that down below as well. So if you want to check out Cocos2D-x, you don't want to go just straight to cocos.com. You're going to want to go directly to the Cocos 4 announcement. This funny thing is, even if I go back over here to GitHub at the repository link, and we go to the releases section, where did I find this? Here, changelog or latest release notes. We're still on 3.172. So do be aware that 4.0 release isn't incredibly obvious where you go ahead and grab it from. So again, very important. If you do want to check out Cocos2D-x 4, you get it from the official blog post, which, by the way, that's how I actually got there. So go over here to blog, and the documentation is available right there. All right, so that's it. If you're a Mac user, obviously there's some nice stuff here with the new iOS and web and macOS support for Metal there, which I guess is, if you're going to support iOS or macOS in the future, then OpenGL is going away. You're going to kind of require this. But yeah, that's the big thing in this particular release. Let me know what you think of it, what you think of Cocos2D-x in general, or Cocos Creator, or Cocos as an organization, or all of that stuff in the comments down below. And I'll talk to you all later. Goodbye for now.